Welcome to Quick Bites, a video series brought to you by the Washington Hospitality Association, highlighting changes coming to the Washington State Food Code on March 1st, 2022. Today's video is sponsored by Harbor Food Service. Harbor Food Service is thankful for every opportunity to keep our industry moving forward. For other supportive resources, visit harborfoodservice.com, where we believe that life happens around the table. And now, here's Susan Shelton from the Washington State Department of Health to discuss changes related to cleaning and sanitizing.
We're wrapping up our quick series on key changes to the Washington State Food Code that become effective March 1st, 2022. Let's get started on our next quick bite. This is all about cleaning and sanitizing. We have a few changes to soap, sanitizer, and test strips that we want to make sure everyone is aware of. One of the first is monitoring food temperatures. So the requirement is that every food establishment has a thermometer. And what's changed and got a little bit of a clarity is that it requires a small probe if you have thin foods. So a small probe means it's thin, right? You'll see the kind that we use as inspectors. It has a very thin probe. And what that usually indicates is that the point that's taking the temperature is towards the tip. And that's what you need whenever you're taking a thin food like a hamburger patty, a fish fillet. You're going to want to make sure you go to the very tip. So make sure your thermometers are accurate, and then make sure they're designed to take the temperatures of the foods that you have. So thin foods are going to need something with a really small tip. I think the vast majority, you probably have that type of thermometer already. The digital ones are traditionally a small probe, but if you use a dial thermometer, you're going to want to look at that to make sure it's accurate in the very tip of the thermometer for your thin foods like hamburger and fish fillets. The next item is for dishwashing. If you have a high temp dish machine, it may not have been clear in the previous versions of the code, but you have to have a way of measuring the temperature of those dish machines that are used for sanitizing. So they make little test strips, they make thermometers that can go inside of a high temp dish machine. You're gonna need something that shows that your water inside that unit, inside your dishwasher, is getting high enough to sanitize. Whenever you use a dishwasher to clean and sanitize your dishes, you need to make sure it's working for you, it's effective. And there are two ways that you can do that. You can test the chemical level, say it's a chlorine. You can actually use a test strip to test the chlorine. But if it's a high temp, then you actually need to use a different test strip or a different system in order to make sure it's getting hot enough for you. Now, there isn't a requirement for how often you do it or that you actually keep a record or anything along those lines, but you're going to want to have access to these. You're going to be required to have access to these test strips or ways to make sure they're working, and check them on a regular basis so that you can make sure it's working. It's something we check every time we do an inspection. Again, you want to make sure that your equipment is getting your dishes and your utensils washed, rinsed, and sanitized. Another one concept is that if you're used to setting up soap or sanitizers, like at the end of day, you're going to want to make sure that you actually have all those available during hours of food preparation. So if you have workers that are making sandwiches and they're like, oh, I'll clean this at the end when I'm all done, the code is going to require actually that they have access to it. So it's all prepared and ready to go. Your sanitizer is ready to go. You can actually use it during the food preparation time. So again, I think a lot of places do actually have their sanitizers ready to go, but some places like to mix it up on demand when they actually need it later. You have to change that a little bit. If you have something that you're going to do food preparation inside the deli area or back of house, you need to make sure that your staff also are using and have access to their sanitizer. And the last one was another stakeholder comment that we received about the hard, close-grained woods. So maybe you use a maple board for a cutting surface. We've clarified in the code that you can actually use that for other things as well. So if it's good for a cutting board, if it's good for a salad bowl, then you can use it for other, maybe a serving board or other things as well. What's key there is that it's close grain, it's able to be washed, rinsed, and sanitized. Okay, if you're going to use it out for customers, you want to make sure it's going to be able to withstand multi-use, which is again going to require that it be washed, rinsed, and then sanitized. You're using your normal procedures. Okay, that was a quick update on just some of the changes to the soap, sanitizer monitoring, making sure that you are having things as sanitary as possible and making sure that your staff are as well prepared as possible.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel for all the latest news and updates impacting the hospitality industry.